The first few pages were normal, just names, birthdays, occupations, handwritten summaries of each candidate's community standing, financial status, and family size. Then I started seeing the red circles. Suggestions for choice, a short list for them to vote on. Alongside them were stern judgments marked with phrases like approaching end of life, or minimal surviving kin, or historically low civic contribution, and then added on were notes not from the elders. No, their handwriting was firmer, direct, but younger handwriting, softer language, correctional even. Marlene Gillard, 84. She still tutors at the library. Her great-granddaughter just got accepted to college. She brings hope to the family. This would destroy them. Thomas Harvey, 58, disabled vet, still teaches woodworking. Mentors troubled kids, has PTSD, wouldn't be ethical. Alicia Norris, 41, chronic illness, started the grief circle after the 1998 death, still manages the town website, would send the wrong message. Others with chronic conditions. George Amlin, 71, ex-convict. He served his time, runs the food pantry. His death would confirm every stereotype the town's trying to grow past. Every single name was paired with a counterpoint. Every sacrifice was dismantled by empathy. The deeper I read, the angrier I felt, not at them, but how familiar it was. How easy it is to rationalize inaction when action feels monstrous. This wasn't corruption. It wasn't bloodlust. It was compassion. They had tried to be better, but better didn't stop the vault from waking. Better didn't boil the lake. Better didn't spare Dolores, or was it ignorance? A new wave of leaders who wrote off tradition as ignorance. Something to move past. The final page wasn't even finished. Just a handful of names with red ink scratched through like someone had grown furious and thrown the pen across the room. In the margin, one line of newer handwriting. There are no perfect deaths, another in pencil. Then maybe we stop pretending it's worth choosing, and under that scrolled in dark pen, pressure piercing through the paper. Then we die together. I closed the book. The vault was right. This wasn't a sacrifice anymore. It was a failure. That night I dreamed of the spiral again, only this time I descended. No ladder, no rope, no footing. I just fell gently as if the air below me had turned to water. The stone walls pulled away as I went, becoming ribs, then roots, then rows of open mouths, all breathing together in rhythm, and at the bottom, where sound should have vanished into nothing, there was light, soft, living like a heartbeat under skin. I didn't hear anything, but I felt it behind my eyes, in my gums, in the marrow of every bone. The town agreed to the cost, it said. I turned, and around me were reflections, other towns, other timelines. Each one was different, and in all of them the vault had gone unsealed. One showed spirals of fire coiling up into the sky, turning birds inside out. In flight, another, a town square full of kneeling people, mouths sewn shut with golden thread, trees grown backwards through their skulls. In one, the vault was gone, not sealed, but absorbed as if it had eaten the land around it and kept growing. They were all worse than anything I could imagine, and every one of them had something in common. No choice was made. I woke up with my pillow soaked in sweat and my tongue heavy in my mouth, like it had been speaking without me. Despite all I had seen, in what I could call more a vision than a dream, I still couldn't pick one name. I didn't call a meeting, but they came anyway. One by one, the elders filed into my living room. Some looked resigned, some looked angry, some looked like they hadn't slept in days. And behind them, the younger council members slunk in with a sting of guilt in their faces. No greetings or small talk, just expectation. Judge Vessa was the first to speak. It has to be now. He said, we've run out of time. Another Miller ran her hand through her hair, shaking. You've studied the list. You've seen the sky. You know what happens if we don't. My throat tightened. I'm not choosing, I said. Not one, not any of them. A long silence. Then something changed in the room. The faces of the younger members, those who had written all the gentle notes in the margins, all the reasons why each circled name shouldn't be chosen, shifted. The sympathy drained, the humanity dimmed. A man named Devellin stepped forward, jabbing a finger at the ledger on my coffee table. "Just pick someone from the marked list." He snapped. "Anyone. Marlene is old, Norris is sick. Elroy is basically retired. It doesn't matter, just choose." These were the same people who had written, "She's a pillar of her family. He volunteers more than anyone. She gives hope to the community." Now they spoke like accountants balancing a ledger. It's between them or us. Devellin said, "Don't act like it's complicated." Something inside me curdled. I shoved the ledger away, sending it skidding across the floor. "If you want a name so bad," I said through my teeth, "pick one yourselves." "We can't," Vesa whispered. "He won't listen to us anymore. It only listens to the collector." "Well, then you're all screwed," I said, "because I'm not playing priest for a monster." The idea of getting blood on my hands to save these people, ready to condemn another with a responsibility I didn't ask for, was too much. The room went dead quiet. Everyone stared at me like I just set the house on fire, but nobody said a thing. Nobody argued or moved. They just stood there waiting, hoping fear would make me fold. And then the door exploded inward. My father stormed in with the force of a man who had been running for miles. Eyes wide, hair licked with sweat, his voice hit the room before he did. "You stupid boy," he roared, "you think this is a joke. You think you get to refuse." I thought he was just going to yell, maybe shove me, maybe try to scare me into it. I did not think he would tackle me to the floor. My head hit the hard, would so hard stars burst behind my eyes. Before I could breathe, his hands were on my collar, dragging me up and slamming me back down again. "Say a name," he barked. "Just say the goddamn name." At first I thought he was bluffing, losing control in panic. But the weight of my chest didn't lift, and his fists didn't stop. My vision blurred, white at the edges, my teeth rattled with each blow. Behind him, the elder stood frozen, not intervening, not helping, watching things play out, not knowing which side to take. Some horrified, some relieved, watching action they must have dreamt of doing, but didn't have the guts. My father leaned close, breath hot on my cheek. "You're supposed to keep it sealed. You're supposed to be better than this." He snarled. I had to do this too. Just do it. Another blow. My skull screamed. "No wonder your mother left." "No wonder I left. You were always weak. Always a disappointment, just like now." He wasn't trying to scare me anymore. He was trying to kill me. My ears rang. Blood filled the back of my throat. The world tilted sideways. I felt myself slipping, consciousness slipping, dissolving like the vault was already tugging at me. And in my delirium, one thought surfaced. I didn't have to choose from the list. I could choose the one trying to kill me. My lips moved before I fully realized what I was saying. I whispered my father's name, barely audible, cracked, broken, but true. The second the consonants left my mouth, the weight vanished, gone. My father wasn't sprawled over me anymore. A soft death like a heart attack or stroke. He wasn't in the room. He wasn't anywhere. A moment ago, he was beating me into the floor. Now there was only air and silence. A few of the elders gasped. One crossed himself. Another woman looked away, trembling. No one said a word because they knew what I had done, and worse, they knew what it meant. The room emptied in minutes. No goodbyes, no reprimands, no condolences, just fear. They fled like they expected the house to collapse the second they crossed the threshold. I was left lying on the floor, staring at the ceiling, my heartbeat hammering in my teeth. Eventually I stood, walked to the window. The sky was clearing, the clouds unraveling, colors returning, the hum in the earth finally quiet. It was over. Just like that, my father was the sacrifice. The town was safe for now. The town healed fast. That was the strangest part. In the weeks that followed, life returned to a rhythm. Not the same rhythm, maybe, but something close enough to pass for normal. The sky lost its bruised hue. The trees stopped leaning in. The power lines stopped whispering. People got up and went to work. The butcher reopened. The school held a bake sale. The lake was still red, but no one talked about that. The selection committee resumed their meetings. Quieter now, fewer members, and fewer words spoken when they left those rooms. Once I used to see them as elders, guardians, wise men and women holding ancient truths. Now they looked like exhausted survivors, scared of what might come next. I never went back to their meetings. They never asked me to, but there was one thing left to do, one door I hadn't opened. My father's house sat just off the main square, tucked between two identical ranch-style homes. I'd driven past it 100 times without thinking. I don't know what I expected, but when I stepped inside, it was exactly what I'd feared. Sparse furniture, a sink full of old dishes, frozen dinners stacked like bricks in the freezer, a recliner with an ass groove too deep to undo, facing a TV tuned permanently to the sports channel. It was a life half lived, lonely, mechanical, gray. I stood in that room for a long time. It smelled like dust, coffee, and a man who didn't know what to do with silence. And then I saw it, a folded piece of paper sitting on the coffee table. My name was written on the front in my father's blocky, stubborn handwriting. I opened it. If you're reading this, then I went through with it. I'm sorry you had to see it. Sorry you had to be a part of it. I didn't want that for you, not ever. That's why I left, but I had to make sure you do it. I couldn't risk you freezing up the way the others did. I know you, I raised you. You were always the good one. Even when you were little, you gave away your Halloween candy to the kids who were too scared to trick or treat. You used to cry when you saw roadkill. That's the kind of heart you have. Big, honest, kind. But a heart like that won't save this town. It never has. I said things I didn't mean. Did things I never wanted to do. You have to know that I needed to make myself into the enemy. I needed to give you someone worth condemning. If you hated me enough to speak my name with weight, then you'd survive. And the town would too. That was always the deal. One name spoken with intent. That's how the mouth knows the offering is real. It had to be me. I was already halfway gone anyway. I've been watching the sky for years now. I could feel it. The teeth behind the clouds, the pressure in my bones. It was coming, and you were going to be the one turned to. So I gave you something to aim at. Me. I'm proud of you. Not because you did what I wanted, but because even after everything, I think you hesitated. Don't let this town break you. You're not like the rest of them. Keep being the kind one, even if it hurts. All my love, Dad. I sat down in his chair. It didn't feel right, didn't fit me, but I sat there anyway. And I cried harder than I had in years, not because he was gone or because of what he did, but because I understood. And I hated that I understood.